Hey guys and gals, here we're going to be working on bag 2 or booklet 2 of the succulents by the Botanical Collection by Lego Creator Expert. So this is bag 1. So let's dump our nice blue box of parts out. Bag 2. Okay, so let's see here. And I'm doing these in separate days just to kind of break things up. Obviously we know how to pour it out. As long as we're not doing it on grass or shag carpeting, I think we're fine. And yeah, let's get going here. So, not a whole lot's been going on. Just been doing chores and stuff lately, just stuff that I don't want to do, but well, you have to do it. Well, I have to do it, you know. And well, this round looks like we get ourselves a bit more color. And just going to start building here. So the first bag, you know, it wasn't too bad. It was okay. At the end there, I was starting to yawn, probably because you know, long day and all. Now I'm doing this late at night before I go to bed, so it's a little different. So this time I've been up now for about maybe 15 hours. So let's see if I can survive this a bit here. Usually when you start these sets, doesn't matter what set you start, you always got a lot of parts on the table you actually have to go through. And I don't know what you'd use these for. Obviously for the flower in here, but you know. So I do sound a little exhausted, a little winded, just tired, and nothing like a little mind exercise before going to bed. So I don't know how everybody's been doing. I've been doing okay. I've been reading a lot of comments on my main channel, and a lot of people want to see more of the custom stuff. And yeah, look, olive green roof slopes. Boy, those must be very rare. So I'm going to start setting stuff right here. Place this right here as a little anchor for my camera, so I know that I don't need to go back that far. And I'm just going to start sorting things out by color while I'm here, or just whatever, so I can find the parts that I need. So the first bag, we didn't really find anything really useful in here in terms of parts. You know, what can I do? And the build quality was, well, it was okay. It wasn't like the best, but well, let's see how sturdy these next 3 plants will be. And there we go. Well, no, I don't need that. I need the little wall elements. All I'm finding is these corner ones, not the straight ones. I know I'll run across them eventually, because I just need 2 more. Oh, there's, okay, I see them. Alrighty, put those right in there. So it's kind of like, if you get this set, you can actually build along. You know. See, this is kind of confusing here. You actually have to read ahead, because there's no way I would really know that right there. And sometimes, how do you do this if you're writing up a building guide? It's complicated. So what I'm gathering is that you do this. It's like that. And you just go around 3 more times. It's nice to see other colors in here. I kind of wish there was blue. It seems like yellow and blue are missing. I mean, we got orange, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, there we go. Let me slide this off to the side here. And like this right here, they could have done that and put this piece on top with an arrow. That's how I do it. It speeds up the build a lot faster. well, I don't know if that's lime green or let's see here. Well, I think it's that. Sometimes it's, the coloring in manuals is sometimes difficult for me to tell which ones are which. Don't roll away. And I've been doing this a lot lately. And what they call insets in my manuals, and the reason why I do insets just speeds up the build, you know, makes it a little faster, and you don't have to waste too much time thumbling through pages, you know, to do something very repetitious. Writing up a building guide is very time consuming. I have to go through and test out the build as I'm building, because a lot of my manuals I'm selling, and I don't want someone to purchase something that, well, I would have a hard time trying to figure out what I did. You know, I've seen some people sell their building guides, or, you know, and they have a sample of them that you can view, and when I'm going through them, I'm like, I'm having a hard time following this. You know, I don't want somebody to message me or contact me and says, what do you mean by this? Like, what do you do here? Because if I have to answer questions, that means I did not do a very good job writing up the manuals. Most people can read ahead in the manual and figure out. But, you know, the whole point of my manuals is so I can preserve my builds, because video files, after a while, they take up a lot of space. Like a video like this will take up space, and eventually I have a 1.5 petabyte media server, and it's starting to get pretty full of videos, like YouTube videos, and after a while it just gets a little bogged down with, I want to watch a movie or something, and I'm thumbing through Lego tutorials, and I'm like, oh, there's got to be more of a way to do it, you know, to store these, you know, that kind of thing. Alright, so the brick exploration, we think these are hats, and they use them for leaves. Never would have thought about that. It looks pretty interesting. You know, a feather goes in there and stuff, and so really, you know, some pieces that are designated for minifigures could also be used, you know, for other means. Like these are used for leaves, which looks pretty cool, right? It's more of a three-dimensional, it's not something flat. And, you know, even though this set is not really my taste, it does have some really good inspiration in it. Like, there's different building techniques. You always can learn something new when you are building stuff like this. And so flip this upside down. Not that one, Jay. That one. And we're going to be putting, looks like red at the bottom. Making sure my camera doesn't cut off. Usually when my camera cuts off, it tells me it doesn't like the tutorials or the reviews. Usually reviews it doesn't like. Yep, just been very busy with work. I've been doing a lot of database work lately. And basically I don't see anything. It's just basically white text on a dark gray background, because I'm more into the software engineering field, and yeah, it does get tedious after a while. Alright, so we set this down where? Oh, in the middle. Well, why didn't you just show it to me like this? And I got to make this, you know, make a note of this when I do the review on these, and it always depends on the builder. I'm going to have to make a note and say, hey, sometimes the manual gets pretty sloppy. Like, what do they mean? You know, this is obviously for older builders, but still, let's make sure here real quick. It's like we're missing something there. No, indeed we're not. It shows this goes in the top and then you shove it down like that, but that's not really a whole lot to hold that in. Yeah, I mean that's I mean I can see why they didn't put a brick in there, but I would have came up with something a bit better than that. I hope I'm not knocking down the creator who built this, but sometimes constructive criticism is warranted. And this just sits in here. That's all it does. All these other ones were attached. This one just sits. So it's like we just completely changed strategies here. Like it just shows you flipped and it shows it in here. So this, I mean, maybe you could use that as a little keepsake box, but oh, it gives you a little bit of history right here. There are probably one of the types of succulents then you can grow. The fun Lego Star is a great way to start your own collection. Yeah, you know, if this wasn't provided to me by Lego, I would not be doing this at all. But I always give everything a whirl. You know, you never know. I mean, this, like, don't get me wrong, there is some good inspiration here, nonetheless. So we're doing this right here, the succulents, if I'm even saying that correctly. Honestly, the black has to go. And, you know, some people like my blunt honesty in reviews, some don't, you know, and that's how it is sometimes, you know. You're being a little hard on something. Well, a lot of people who watch my videos love my stuff, but there is some critics. There are some out there who will give me an honest, you know, evaluation of my builds, like you could have done this better, you could have done that better, you cannot drop parts on the table, you know. And, you know, sometimes you take that into heart next time you build. You know, it's like it took me forever to do speed builds. And, oh, Jay, you don't need to speed build the whole thing. Just speed build through, like, if you're putting down tiles. Okay, let's put tiles in this whole area. And then you just go about your business doing the speed build, and you just proceed on with the thing. And I never thought about it like that, so I did. And sure enough, a lot of people prefer that, so I just started sticking with it. There's always room to improve when you're doing this stuff. You know, always learn something new every day. Oh, and yeah, let me know if you like the style of build videos. It's basically like a live review. Then I will condense my notes down and do the final review. Alright, so obviously we get one of these. I think that's bright green, is that? Oh, looks like it's the same green. Thought it maybe was that color right there. Alrighty, and put that in there. So far so good, at least this one's stationary. This build is completely all over the place here. I may have to step away a few times throughout this build. I am actually backing up data right now for a work project. You know what? I think these are friction. Yes, these are. You know, I've been looking for friction Technic pins with studs. And yeah, I could have used that for a build. Well, by the time this is published, I'm trying to think of what I had to release. Just like with Lego, I don't like doing leaks. So it was a project that's been long overdue. And sometimes that's just how it is. Alright. So obviously we got it right. It's stationary, and Well, looks like the picture. Yeah, so sometimes you just have to take your time. See, I done this too. Did this and flipped it over and stuff. Writing your own manuals, though, it's, when I was a kid, the closest thing we had was a Polaroid camera, if anybody knows what those are. They were like kind of like a precursor to the digital camera, and you can take a picture and see how your photo turned out, although it took maybe a minute or two for it to render up, if you want to call it that. And that was about the fastest means. We didn't have smartphones growing up or anything like that. You just had to, just be aware of your phone surroundings or your thing. I mean, we had, when I was a kid, cell phones, man, I'm older than the cell phone. But I remember cell phones when they were really big boxes. And, okay, this goes on the top. Alright. Yeah, and that's just how it was, now today, smartphones are a thing, and I'll tell you, I was one of those guys when I first got a smartphone. I'm like, I'll never use all these features, and well, sure enough, I did. I use all those features, and it's convenient. I think the thing that revolutionizes all the microchip stuff are small now. Whoops, I need to make 4 of these. And take a couple of these. I always thought these things were kind of useless, and if you really wanted to get technical with it, you would stick this together like that, and you can practically flip your stud orientation with that. A little bit of a tidbit there, and ooh, look at this. This is going to be a problem, especially when I drop this stuff on the floor. That kind of thing. Lining this stuff up can be a pain. Yeah. So, so far, just my experience putting this together. Is this suitable for little children? Absolutely not. Could a child put this together? If they exercise patience, I'm sure he or she could. Could put one of these together and be done with it. I think also the reason why Lego sent this to me, because they saw that I have a bunch of scenic stuff on my YouTube channel. I like the outdoors and stuff, so for me it's cool up to a point. I mean, I'm by all means no gardener or anything. I don't have a flower garden or anything like that in my house, but oops, I got that on backwards. I need some of these in various colors. I got 2 of those. So honestly, also a thing with this build is you do not want to build this in one sitting unless you are absolutely bored and you have nothing to do. And that goes for even mock building too. Some people will literally sit in their Lego room for hours on end just building things, and I can't. I lose interest. I don't know if it's because of ADHD or just because I get bored real easily, but I just cannot do it. Also, if you're doing chores like laundry and stuff, you can always build a section, go do some chores, take a break, do another section. And it breaks the monopolist up of doing these tedious builds that are repetitious. And I'm putting together something here for the flower, and this is actually like 6 pieces. No, it's 5 pieces. Alrighty. There we go. Now I gotta find this. And then these go in here. Like that. But which way do these go? I'm seeing this one here, so I'm assuming that it's like that. So sometimes simplifying your steps could be more of a nightmare than it's worth. See, these are kind of getting all weird on me here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I think it's supposed to be like that. Let's see here. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Then we got to put these in here. Okay. Now I do have lots of these. I use these for my motorhomes to attach roof antennas, but I've never seen them in a nice deep violet purple. And it looks like it goes... Let me match the picture up here. So it's like this, and it goes, I guess, to this bottom peg. So we got to make 4 of those. All right. Put that right down in there. I may do one of these one day, not this set though. Do what I call a silent or an ASMR thing. And then these snap in here. So they just go in. Well, obviously they don't do much of anything, huh? Well, of course I haven't put it all together yet. Yeah, I've been looking at getting some stuff here to put this camera where it faces straight down instead of using a tripod, so I can actually be in the middle here without tripping over the like I'm literally building around the tripod right now. Alright, well I'm kind of confused here. How does it even go? Or am I putting that in the wrong way? Oh, see, they're kind of rotated, so they're like this. Well, you would never know that, huh? So this is a build that you're going to have to go very slow through it. You won't be able to rush through this. If you're trying to get this done before bedtime, obviously you will not. You will not succeed, as I am having a hard time. Just like with anything with foliage, it's the last one's usually the pain to get in there. Okay, well I got it in. I believe, I think, something like that. Oh, okay, well, alright. So we got to make more of these, and then you stick them on the bottom. Okay, before I start doodling around with that, let's make a bunch of these. Okay, so there's one. Man, I've been having the hiccups lately like crazy. And I've got word that my summer, just like with the last couple of summers, like the summer before the pandemic and the 2 summers during the pandemic, has been nerfed. So guess who gets to have the privilege of working throughout the summer? You guessed it. Me. Isn't that fun? You get to work while everybody else is having fun. This is not my job, by the way. This is just something to get me away from the job. I may need to make a video, because some people think that YouTube is my job and Lego's my job. I'm like, no, it's not. If this was a job, it'd be like rushing to get it done. Be like, okay, I got to get this nonsense out of the way. Ooh, that's pretty. What else does it do? All right. So we put it in here. Does it even show us how to put it in? No, you just assume that that fits in there. You should have had an arrow going down in there, because I would never have known that. And looks like we just need to open these up a bit here. Kind of fluff it up a bit. And it looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Not really my type of build, though, but nonetheless, it is pretty. It's pretty. It's a pretty build. Let's put a Technic piece in there and stick that right in there. Can't wait to merge it to the other piece, and then we'll see what that looks like. I'll have to take a picture of the thumbnail before I do that. Maybe I'll do it live. So we're doing this thing here. But I need to get up and stretch my legs real quick, so hold up. Well, with the magic of video editing, I'm already back. And, you know, speaking of working and stuff like that, there was somebody that I used to know in my past, and, well, he refuses to get a job because he doesn't like being told what to do. Well, for me as a business owner, yeah, I mean, I'm told what to do every day. It doesn't matter, so... You know, you hear some out there go, oh, I don't want to be told what to do. I want to be my own boss. Are you sure about that? Just from experience, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Yes, you know, you could work for yourself and do computer programming, but once somebody hires you on for a gig, it's like you're working a 9 to 5 at that point. And once you're done with the gig, you present it to the client and they are happy with your work and they pay you, well, you're done. Of course, that means you're unemployed again, but that's how it usually works. But I also have a regular job with my business as well. So I just basically work on databases. It was a hobby when I was in college. Now it's more of a career. Amazing how things turn out to be sometimes. Alright, there we are. Hey, at least we're getting all the black pieces out of the way. Okay, it looks pretty good. So far it's pretty sturdy. So that's what that 2x4 brick with the 3 cross axles are for. Now, they want me to put this plate in here, and it doesn't tell me how far that should go in. So before I place that in there, I'm going to look in the book. And then we're going to see here. Ooh, a cactus? Yuck. And see, it doesn't even show you, so you're just going to have to guess. It was one of those gray ones, or was it a brown one here? It's gray. Alright. Okay, I guess it just shove it all the way down in there, huh? Or just leave it like that, just to be safe. Okay. Now we're going to build the other part. I think I've seen these in a Minecraft mod. Pretty cool, actually. This is almost similar to a tutorial that I had built for making bushes. I would have shoved a shaft through there because this will get pretty brittle. I mean, it'll get flimsy after a while. That new Lego smell. It's like getting a new car. You got that new car smell, or a new house smell, or a new fifth wheel, or travel trailer smell. So this is pretty flimsy here. That is not... I'm sure if you add the other parts around, it's going to make it really strong. So, always read ahead. We have to build 4 of these right here. So let's get to it. Now I don't have these slopes in this color. These would be good for more of an old school vintage building, so maybe I can scrounge a few of those up. Lego has that 3-month new part policy. They won't release the parts out, which is kind of a bummer, because sometimes I'm like, yes, they came out with a new color. I could use that for one of my mocks. The next thing you know, you won't get a hold of those pieces very well. All right. I need to get me like a little stand for my manuals. Okay. So let me build one of these up first. So I got to make 4 of these. This is honestly not a really pleasing color. It's olive green. When I was a kid, my parents had appliances that color. And that was pretty much the thing back in the 60s and the 70s. And that was the decor. Everybody wanted warm earth tones. Now everybody wants white, black, and gray. Yeah, I've been in houses that have like the bright pink, olive green bathrooms. Sometimes they're nice blues, like just deep blues, like the tile on the wall is blue, and those kind of things. Those are always fun to go see older architecture. Like, yeah, the build looks a bit dated, but you know, the decor, but it's just unique. It's not like modern and stuff. I've been getting requests for building modern builds. Like, Jay, why don't you build a modern house with white bricks? And you're like, why? I've been collecting colored bricks for so long. I want to build with colors, not make a black and white build. I mean, it's just not really appealing to me. Alright, so these go on here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, okay, so it's the big end goes here. I think once we get one of these on here, it shouldn't be too bad. And then we just have to work our way around. I don't think it really matters which way these go. Well, let me make sure. Oh, I forgot to put the things in here. There's stems that go in here, and I got these on backwards. So guess what I'm going to have to do? Pop them off. I have a feeling this is going to break. Oh no, it didn't. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. That was going to break apart. Very brittle. You know, once you start interlocking things, it's not too bad. So these little things go in there. I wish those were like green or something. Matter of fact, and that's part of it there. Well, I guess the last piece is always the hardest. Almost looks like a grenade. I'd like to see these in different greens, not tan. Yeah, this is obviously some kind of a cacti. So looks like if there was only 2 of those little limbs on it, looked like a snail, like snail eyes. Those little tentacles that come out of a snail. So yeah, this is it's a very tedious build to do these. They're not obvious. This is obviously not meant for children. Basically, the color scheme screams it out. This is more for advanced builders. But I use the term advanced builder very loosely because what is advanced? You know, I've seen adults where there's a lot of adults who are getting into the Lego hobby and they're building multicolored stuff, you know, or really basic Lego structures, you know. There's nothing wrong with that if you're just beginning into it, or you just want to doodle, yeah. I mean, there is some serious Lego builders out there. I mean, people who are serious in this, where for myself and many others, this is just a mere hobby. You know, this is just something to get us away from the boring things of life, like work and paying bills You know, I mean, and being told what to do. I'm not going to work because I don't want to be told what to do. Well, when your landlord comes a knocking on your door asking for rent, well, you're being told what to do. You got to give him your money or he's going to boot you out. I mean, that's how it is. I've only known one person in my life who's been evicted. Alright. It's kind of crooked like that. This is not really sturdy. So this is meant to be as a conversation piece, nothing more. And just taking a look here. Almost looks like one of those spinny things you'd see going into the subway. Matter of fact, you get enough of these, you know, that's not a bad idea. Make a great little tutorial, huh? Maybe I'll have to think on that one. Well, by the time that's already done, I've already made the tutorial. We got to stack 2 of these plates. They show you got to do this 4 times right here. Well, sometimes that can be a bit challenging to feed these through, so you may want to do these separate here. It makes it easier to put them on there, even if you, especially if you have like arthritis in your hands or something. If you're a senior builder, and you know, just to make it a little more, you don't want to have to muscle that on there. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. And then we stick 2 more of these on here. Well, we're starting to run out of things here. Well, these things go on a certain way. Oh, no, they don't. It's like, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Yep, we got to do that again. Cool. Why don't they just say make 8 of those then? And indeed, it is offset. And we're almost done too. So this is actually going to be a pretty quick one here. I'm going to try to get this thing done soon because part of the thing with Lego is I have to provide a report analysis on this. Sounds like a job, but which, you know, I hope this doesn't become a job. But that's what I signed up for. Alright, now we're to the fun colors. So we got to make 8 of these. So let me take a breather here and I'll be right back. Alright, here I am back with the magic of video editing. So let's move all these out of the way here. Just going to make 8 of these. Best way to really want to speed through this, or you can preserve your building experience and do 1 at a time. But let's go ahead and start with that first. See, I've been doing a lot of this here, so it makes the builds faster. Coral is such an interesting color in Lego. It's like a faded red. But this color I always associate with water. Of course, it's coral, but it's a very unique color. So the set does come with a good chunk of amount of coral 1x2 and 1x4 plates. Now, put these here. Well, am I missing one? I'm missing a plate. Alright, if I'm missing something, I'm going to start flipping things over here because oh, here it is. Sometimes you got to separate some stuff. Now, what's next. So we come in here and oh, and believe it or not, there's somebody in my area that has their house painted this color. We're talking the stucco, the walls are painted coral, and the trim is white. And no way I would ever paint my house like that. You know, I mean, I would understand if it was like a Victorian, like there was one town I was in up in Northern California where they had a bunch of Victorians, and man, these houses were painted in bright colors like this. But it was appealing because it was older architecture. The colors just popped. But a modern stuccoed house, you wouldn't want to do that. It just would not look good at all. So you wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, just piecing this together now. This is a matter of fact, I've even seen a pickup truck with this color too. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's not really a good idea to paint a pickup truck this color. Some people do though. I mean, I would never paint my truck this color. And make sure these are really pressed down. So I've already got 3 of these built so far. So honestly, it's a lot of repetitious work. I mean, it's Lego, but it's technically work because you got to do this like a cajillion times. Okay. You know, honestly though, it's a very relaxing build. Only if you're an older builder and you're really into floral arrangements, this is very relaxing indeed. It's kind of want to see the outcome of this. And 2, I got way too many sets in my personal collection I got to go through too. I've been trying to clean up inventory so I can make more room for parts for MOCs. Like I got a bunch of campers and stuff I'd like to build. And 2, I'm also going through a bunch of my inventory right now. I have unsorted parts that I'm still trying to go through. You're never done sorting. And then we stick these in here. And oh, we got to put flowers on here now, huh? It's nice bright orange too. They need to bring like a neon orange or something. That'd look really good instead of this regular orange. And when I was a kid, orange Lego didn't exist. We only had a few colors. We had red, yellow, blue, white, black. I call them the classic A-fall colors. It's by an artist. Creator of Lego liked this one artist, so he made all his Lego bricks that color. Then when I was a kid, they started introducing gray. They had green. Like the only thing you can get in this green is like shutters, the base plates. There were some bricks, but very far and few, and I'm already yawning. And let's see here. So, okay, let's see how those go on. So, but some of the colors now are kind of, you know, some of these are pretty eye-catching colors, like the coral. There we go. We're getting it together now. And this is very flimsy. You got to be careful because see, I can press right here and it kind of comes apart. So we're going to need to check our work as we go. Best thing to do is set the flowers on the number 1x2 plate and just press down on just the flowers to make sure everything's sturdy. So you may want to do that. So like right here, these are both opposites. The best thing, if you really want to make this sturdy, just go like this. 2, 3, 4, and you're done. So now there it is. What's next here? So now we got to put the dish on the top too. Okay. Wow, we hide a dark green hollowed stud in there. Well, that's rare, and we're hiding it. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And we stick the flower on the top. And I'm sure this goes on like that. Well, okay, well, it looks pretty interesting. Something you'd see underwater, though. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen these in a modded Minecraft game. Alright. Okay. Let's start putting things... Oh, we gotta put this on the top, huh? Yeah, that's right. So, I think that just sits in there. So this probably just goes like that. May want to press down very carefully on that. There we go. So that's what it looks like right there. Got a bit of a gap. Don't want to press too hard on that and have it come apart in a cajillion parts. Yeah. And then we put these together. So we put it, we're missing this one here. Goes like that. That. And like that. Alright, we got one more step, and that's to feed these in here. Now it depends if the next step is joining the other piece together. And indeed we don't, so that's technically it. I'm not going to put it together because the book didn't tell me. So that's the stuff we build on the back. Succulents! Yeah, well, this is all the stuff we have left over. You know, stuff that I could probably use, and some exotic stuff. Nothing I would use in my regular builds. And what I'm gathering is we would just slowly put these together. Okay, so you can see I could press that together. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to do a thumbnail. And I'm going to wait till it finalizes it and tells me. Because I want to build it like a normal person would, not just what I assume. So here's what it looks like now. And see, this just comes out. So honestly, yeah, I'm still not quite feeling this yet. It's very interesting. This would make a great desk decoration for maybe like if you're in a cubicle or something, where the nearest window is probably 10 miles away, but there it is. So I hope everyone enjoyed the build of the second bag of the Succulents Botanical Collection by LEGO Creator Expert.